Yo, what's up gamers? So I'm in the breakroom again, not because I want to be here, but because someone changed the Wi-Fi password and didn't tell anybody. And while I'm standing here waiting for Sharon from marketing to stop yelling at the router while I personally betrayed her, I start thinking about something. How does a teenager with hotel Wi-Fi leak the biggest scam on earth? Just a Fire TV stick, a smartphone, and confidence. So yeah, looks like we're digging through the Janitor Files again. The series where we clean up the gaming stories that sound completely fake, but absolutely weren't. But before we crack this one open, do me a favor, hit like, subscribe if you want more deep dives into chaos behind the games, and tell me in the comments, do you think hacking is more about genius level coding, or just tricking someone into clicking the wrong email? Because what happened with GTA 6, it wasn't what most people think. So how does a 17-year-old kid leak the most anticipated game on the planet? Not for some neon-lit hacker bunker, not with elite government backdoors, not with some billion-dollar cyber weapon, but with hotel Wi-Fi, a Fire TV stick, a smartphone, and a whole lot of spamming. On September 18, 2022, over 90 early development clips of GTA 6 exploded onto the internet. We got police chases, debug menus, unfinished animations, internal developer chats, and this wasn't fake. This wasn't a rumor, this was Rockstar's actual internal build of the biggest game in the world. The person behind it, Arian Kurtaj, who turned 18 while his trial was going on, a member of the Lapis hacking group, allegedly he logged into GTA forums under the name Teapot Uber Hacker, posts the footage, and then casually tells Rockstar to contact him on Telegram or he'll leak the source code next. Now here's where it gets insane. He was already on bail for hacking Uber and Nvidia, his laptop had been confiscated, police were monitoring him, and while he was staying in the Travelodge Hotel, what does he do? He plugs an Amazon Fire TV stick into the hotel TV, uses his smartphone to access cloud systems, hooks up a keyboard and a mouse, and turns a budget hotel room into a remote hacking rig. No underground network, no command center, just a $40 streaming stick and public Wi-Fi. Tell me that doesn't sound like a Netflix script. This wasn't just a zero-day exploit, there was no evidence of some advanced infrastructure takedown or secret vulnerability being discovered. What happened was credential compromise. Login information was reportedly obtained through social engineering tactics like phishing or multi-factor authentication fatigue, where someone floods a target with authentication requests until they eventually tap Prove just to make it stop. No firewall shattered, no encryption cracked. Once those credentials were valid, there was no dramatic break-in. He simply logged in, that access opened internal Slack channels, the same collaboration space where developers coordinate, share builds, and discuss progress. From there, early footage and internal conversations were downloaded and exfiltrated. This wasn't cinematic cyber warfare, it was exploiting routine workflows in a remote-first environment where cloud tools were standard and authentication prompts are constant. And most major breaches don't begin with breaking code, they begin with someone gaining legitimate access. Did it actually hurt GTA 6? Immediately? Yes. Rockstar had to publicly confirm the footage was real, something no studio wants to do mid-development. Internal recovery reportedly cost millions in time, security upgrades, and redirected manpower. Teams that had spent years quietly building something ambitious suddenly watched unfinished work circulate worldwide. There were real concerns about delays. When development materials leak, leadership has to evaluate risk, not just from a PR standpoint, but from security, morale, and workflow disruption. Online though, nuisance appeared. It turned into meme fuel. Debug overlays were treated like final UI designs, placeholder assets became proof of graphical failure, people analyzed pre-alpha physics like it was a finished product under review. Rockstar had to reiterate that development would continue as planned, and it did. Long term, the franchise didn't collapse. When the official trailer finally dropped, it shattered view records and reignited hype instantly. Commercial momentum held. This wasn't an isolated attack. Arian Kurtaj was linked to other high-profile breaches around the same time, including incidents involving Uber and Nvidia. When you look at those cases side by side, a pattern starts to emerge. The method was consistent. It was social engineering over brute force. Not smashing through infrastructure, not deploying exotic exploits, gaining access by manipulating people instead of machines. And the motive is what makes this era different. There wasn't classic ransomware operations demanding massive payouts. There wasn't a coordinated profit-maximizing strategy behind it. Instead, much of it appeared reputation-driven. Screenshots posted, internal chats exposed, headlines generated, Telegram clout earned. In the modern attention economy, disruption becomes currency. The spectacle itself becomes a reward. That's a very different model from traditional cybercrime, where the goal is money and the incentive is financial gain. When reputation, chaos, and online status become the objective, it's harder to deter because you're not negotiating with someone who wants payment, you're dealing with someone who wants recognition, and that's far less predictable. So once this footage hit the internet, containment wasn't realistic anymore. Within minutes, copies were everywhere. Mirrors popped up on forums began circulating, screen recordings were clipped, reposted, re-uploaded. Even when original links were removed, fragments kept multiplying. That's the Streisand effect in real time. The harder something is pushed down, the faster it spreads. In a hyper-connected ecosystem, information doesn't disappear, it fragments, it replicates, it outpaces takedown efforts. By the time Rockstar confirmed the breach, the footage had already become digital confetti. And then there's the legal outcome, which adds another layer to this story. In December 2023, Kurtaj was deemed unfit to stand trial due to severe autism. He was still found responsible and received an indefinite secure hospital order after being assessed as high risk to reoffend. That complicates the narrative. This isn't a clean supervillain arc. It's not a cinematic mastermind versus corporation story. It's a case of vulnerability where cloud systems, corporate processes, social engineering, and individual behavior issues all intersected at the exact wrong moment. No bunker, no elite cyber unit, just a connected world moving faster than anyone can fully control. Will it happen again? Cloud culture didn't vanish, remote infrastructure didn't disappear, and social engineering still works disturbingly well. But the industry didn't ignore this issue. Multi-factor authentication enforcement tightened, least privilege access became stricter, monitoring systems grew louder and faster, studios adapted, and now the real question isn't if security improved, it's which side evolves faster. Attackers looking for attention, or defenses trying to anticipate human error. Because this wasn't a story about elite cyber geniuses, it was about access, and as long as access exists, someone will try to take it. You know what's funny? I came in here because someone changed the Wi-Fi password, and that was the whole problem, a password. And somehow that turned into a teenager leaking the biggest game in the world. No Hollywood hacking bunker, no secret cyber weapon, no supercomputer stitched together in a basement. Just credentials, cloud access, and someone clicking the wrong thing. And that's what this episode really was about. Not genius level code, not unstoppable cyber warfare, but just how fragile the digital world actually is when humans are involved. So yeah, I guess Sharon yelling at the router makes a lot more sense now. Well, I gotta bounce. If you enjoyed digging through this one, hit that like button, subscribe, and stick around for the next file we pull out of the mop closet. And tell me in the comments down below, what's scarier to you, a mastermind hacker, or the fact that it only takes one login to find a way in? This is Scruffy the Janitor signing off. Peace out.